The ex-champion fights for redemption after prison release. I remember the first time I saw him fight. The crowd roared as he stepped into the ring, strong, confident, unstoppable. He wasn't just a boxer, he was a force of nature. A champion. A man who made his name by never backing down. But life has a way of knocking you down, even when you think you're untouchable. His name is Marcus Carter. Once, he held the world title in his weight class. He had money, fame, and the kind of respect that comes from winning fight after fight. People admired him. Young fighters looked up to him. He was a legend in the making. He had the kind of career most fighters only dream of. But one mistake changed everything. One night, one decision, and suddenly, he was no longer a champion, he was an inmate. Prison took away everything, his career, his family, his freedom. He spent 8 years behind bars, forced to face the mistakes that brought him there. The man who once stood tall in the ring now spent his days locked behind concrete walls, his fists useless against the reality he created for himself. He trained in his cell, using whatever he could to keep himself strong. Push-ups, sit-ups, shadowboxing against the cold walls of his cell. It wasn't much, but it was all he had. The worst part wasn't the isolation or even the loss of freedom. It was knowing that outside those prison walls, the world was moving on without him. Nothing could prepare him for the world waiting outside. When Marcus was finally released, the world had changed. The bright lights of fame had faded. His name was just a whisper in the sport he once dominated. Fighters he once mentored had become stars in their own right. The fans who once cheered his name barely remembered him. It was like he had been erased, like he never existed. The reporters who once chased him for interviews now ignored him. The endorsements, the sponsorships, gone. He tried reaching out to old friends, but most didn't answer his calls. The ones who did gave him a polite conversation before making an excuse to leave. He wasn't the Marcus Carter they once knew. He was just another man with a criminal record. Even his own family kept their distance, unsure if they could trust him again. But Marcus wasn't the type to stay down. He had a choice: disappear into the shadows or fight his way back. With nothing but a duffel bag and the weight of his past on his shoulders, Marcus walked into the same old gym where he trained as a young fighter. The smell of sweat and leather filled the air, a reminder of the life he lost. The new generation of fighters barely recognized him. To them, he was just another washed-up athlete trying to relive his glory days. Some of them even smirked when they saw him, whispering about how the old man should have stayed retired. But Marcus knew better. He wasn't here for fame. He was here for redemption. He needed to prove to himself that he was still worth something, that he could still stand and fight. He needed to prove to himself that his story wasn't over. Day after day, he pushed himself harder than ever. His body, once hardened by years of training, had grown stiff in prison. His punches weren't as sharp, his reflexes slower. But his heart, that was still strong. Stronger than ever. He trained in silence, ignoring the whispers, the doubt, the people who said he was too old, too broken. Every morning, he ran until his legs burned. Every night, he punched the heavy bag until his knuckles bled. He wasn't fighting for titles anymore. He was fighting for himself. The road back was lonely. There were nights he questioned if it was worth it. Nights when the weight of regret sat heavy on his shoulders. He had lost friends, lost trust. Some people would never forgive him for the mistakes he made. He knew that. He didn't expect the world to open its arms for him. And then, the nightmares came. The fights he lost, not in the ring, but in life. The look in his mother's eyes the last time she visited him in prison. The pain he had caused the people who believed in him. He had spent years trying to block it out, but now, without the distractions of fame and money, he had to face it all. And it hurt. It hurt more than any punch he had ever taken. Then came the moment he had been waiting for, a chance to step into the ring again. Not a championship fight, not even a televised event. Just a small underground bout, the kind that didn't pay much but gave him what he needed, a chance. A chance to prove to himself that he still had something left. A chance to feel alive again. When he entered the ring, the world around him faded. It was just him, his opponent, and the fight. The bell rang, and for the first time in years, Marcus felt alive. The punches came hard and fast, but he stood his ground. He took hits, but he gave them back twice as hard. The crowd, small as it was, felt like the biggest stadium in the world. And when the final bell rang, Marcus was still standing. He won. It wasn't a title fight. It wasn't a comeback that would make headlines. But for Marcus, it was everything. It was proof that he could still fight, still rise after falling. It was a reminder that his story wasn't over. His journey wasn't over. He wasn't looking for the world's approval anymore. He was looking for something deeper, peace, redemption, and a reason to keep fighting. And as he left the ring that night, he knew one thing for sure: he may have lost his title, but he would never lose his spirit. Because true champions don't stay down. They rise again. Hello, amazing viewer. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more awesome content, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. I'd also love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Let me know what you think. And if you found this video helpful or entertaining, please share it with your friends and family. Your support means the world to me and helps this channel grow. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.